We have drones making incursions over military bases, specifically Barksdale in Louisiana, Fort McNair in Washington, D.C. And the government tells us, oh, no, everything's okay. Bullcorn, everything's okay. I want to know why these things weren't shot out of the sky or followed once they left, but apparently for hours they were flying reconnaissance over Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. And here's the thing. Is it about reconnaissance? I don't think so. I think this was a test. I think this was a test to see what we would do. And God forbid these drones were weaponized to take out troops, our equipment, B-52 bombers. Most certainly could happen. We see the use of drones overseas. So let's start with a news report about this to kick it off. This is talking about the situation outside of D.C.
U.S. officials detected unidentified drones above an Army base in Washington, where Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth live. The Post says officials have not determined where those drones came from. The drones over Fort McNair have reportedly prompted officials to consider relocating Rubio and Hegseth. Pentagon's not confirming or denying the reports.
All right, now hold on a second. We're the United States of freaking America. You're going to relocate the Secretary of War and Secretary of State because some drones make incursions into Fort McNair? How about if you come near us again, we will blast you out of the sky? Not, oh, we're going to run and hide and take our Secretary of State and put him underground. How about our military bases ought to be secure? And as much as we're taking the fight to the enemies in the Middle East, we need to be taking fight to the enemies here. If you fly a drone over a U.S. military base, that drone will be shot out of the sky. I don't know how they come to any other conclusion than that. Now, maybe they've been shot out of the sky and they're not telling us. The Pentagon's been very tight-lipped on this. There was a memo that was leaked that basically said these things were flying at will over there. They had jamming capabilities, which means this is not a hobbyist, that these drones could push back against U.S. jamming capabilities. This is bad news all the way around. So you've got to ask yourself, what in the world is going on? Then we go down to Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana.
Mystery drones over a major U.S. military base in Louisiana. Waves of high-tech drones flying over the highly sensitive area. That base housing B-52 bombers and the Air Force's nuclear command.
Tonight, law enforcement officials are warning of a significant threat to public safety and national security after swarms of high-tech drones invaded the airspace over one of the nation's most strategic military installations for nearly a week.
Now, hold on a second. For a week? For a week, this is going on. You heard him. This is where our nuclear capabilities are run out of. Our B-52 bombers, which can carry nuclear bombs, are run out of. A week this goes on for?
Financial briefing document reviewed by ABC News said earlier this month, multiple waves of 12 to 15 drones flew for hours at a time over sensitive areas of Barksdale Air Force Base near Shreveport, Louisiana, home of B-52 bombers and the Air Force's nuclear command.
Now, that's not far from Dallas. Louisiana, at least Shreveport's just a few hours down the road from where we broadcast from. So if they have the capabilities to fly these drones over Barksdale in waves of 12 to 15, where is the organizational flight patterns coming from? Who's flying those drones? Now, they could be AI programmed or straight computer programmed, but somebody's got to be doing the programming. Where is that coming from? Where are they taking off and landing from? A lot of people I talk to think these are fixed wing drones, not the helicopter style drones.
Air Force was not able to do anything to stop them.
The drones operated in loose formations, then dispersed across sensitive locations on the base, and they're unlike anything available off the shelf. The document said these drones have a much longer range and are resistant to jamming.
The sophistication we see in both how the drones were employed and the kinds of drones don't point to some hobbyist. They point to a state actor.
Barksdale Air Force Base, ABC News, it is investigating multiple unauthorized drones operating in our airspace during the week of March 9th, not long after the start of the war with Iran.
The analysis we reviewed, David, said these still unexplained incursions are expected to continue, and law enforcement officials, David, have long expressed concerns about the country's ability to defend itself from drones.
I'm just so confused. Are you? They expect it to continue. Why wouldn't you say we don't expect it to continue? Because every drone that comes near this base will be shot out of the sky, will explode before our very eyes. What do you mean expect it to continue? Are we not doing anything about it, or do they not want to tell us what they're doing about it? Could be either or. I hope it's the latter. But I'd like to get a little more ability to feel at least confident about this. I don't feel very confident at all about this. This goes back a year ago. Remember when we were having the drones? I think it was a year ago. Was it last summer? Drones up and down the East Coast, New Jersey. It seemed to me to be hobbyists more than anything else. Well, I believe it was 60 Minutes that did an interview with a high-ranking individual. So there are some safety concerns with trying to shoot these things out of the sky. So if I were to go out of my house with just an AR-15 and shoot a bullet into the sky, that bullet will go a mile or more. I mean, that will go a long way. That poses a huge safety risk. If you have conventional weapons that are shooting these drones out of the sky and the bullets are missing the drone, you could put civilians in danger a long way away. That is an absolute risk here. It seems to me you need either some type of laser weapon, which we do have. I know it sounds crazy to say, oh, we need a laser weapon. We have laser weapons. We need some type of laser weapon, or in the form of a shotgun pattern. Now, if these are very big, I don't know if a shotgun pattern would take these down. Certainly a shotgun would take down a hobby drone. No problem. You could pop those out of the sky easy. But if this is a big drone like we see being used in Iran, by Russia and China, it's not going to be able to come down with a shotgun. So there's concerns about how you take it down unless you get above it and shoot towards the ground. You know, look, when you're firing anything, what do you have to do? You have to know what is beyond, what is downrange of the target, and only fire when it is safe to do so. That goes for a military operation as well.